Hey everyone, Cheese here, and this video, it's not going to be a normal guide like usual. It's going to be a video I'm going to name something like I Made a Legendary or something like that. And the reason why I'm going to be calling that is because, indeed, I did make a legendary. It took me ages to do, but I have Bolt. The reason why this is not going to be a guide is because there's so many steps along the process that I'm most likely going to forget some things, and it isn't even going to be a good guide. So I'm making this video just to give you my general thoughts and opinions on what it's actually like to have a legendary, I guess, if you want to go for one in Guild Wars 2 and stuff like that. So the first thing I should mention is that, well, why would you even want one? Well, for me, the two simple reasons are, first of all, this thing is account bound, so you can give it to pretty much any character you own through either shared inventory slots up here, or you just put it in the bank, and then the other character can pick it up and use it. Also, another thing that's good about them is that if you click customize, you can do this over and over again, and it will let you choose from one of the many stat presets the game has, and you're allowed to do this over and over and over again. Then also some legendaries have certain elemental types with their damage. The Bolt is a great example. Here you can see the kind of prefix with the captions around it, lightning. That means if you kill an enemy with it, it will be dealing lightning damage, so you get to see the lightning death animation with Azura, particularly Inquest, since that's the main type of Azura you usually be facing. Their death screaming animation is pretty funny. Another great thing about legendaries is that any upgrades you put in it, for example, this Sigil of Air, if you put it in something else, normally it'll get destroyed. But with legendaries, it pops out, kind of like some Lego pieces on some Lego sets. I don't know why I'm using a Lego analogy. I am just doing that. The effect, however, for Bolt, I guess it was kind of underwhelming. I'll just equip it right now so you can see what I mean. So my character's got it equipped. You can see it there, right there on the side of him. And now if I just draw it, yeah, that's it. I was expecting it to be a lot more, or a lot more flashy, but all it really does is make this little zapping effect, put a electric ore around your character, and also when you walk, as you can see, you leave behind these electric footprints, or footfolds, whatever you call them. That's what the wiki calls them. So what I'm actually planning to do is if we just go into the trading post here, and then favorites, I'm planning to most likely either give it a dark matter skin, which you can see here, or a bright inquisitor skin, which are just two swords I really like the look of. I actually think this, in a way, looks more like a flashy, fancy legendary than the actual Bolt does. So you might be wondering, well, why'd you even make this thing if you kind of don't like the look of it and think the effect is kind of lame? Well, the main reason is because it's mostly a stat stick. I'm using it as a stat stick, so I'm using it so I can constantly change the stats. Also, I have the highest damage weapon in the game because legendaries and ascended weapons have the same damage type, or not same damage type, but they have the same damage output, which is the max. They'll always do the max, and then one grade lower but below that is exalted, then it goes rare, then so on. You know the rest of that. So I could pretty much end the video here, and I'd be just showing off a little. But I want to also go over some of the steps I used to get a legendary, because I want to kind of explain how it was very difficult to do, and also some mistakes, in my opinion, you should avoid quite a lot. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. If you don't really care about all that kind of stuff, I'm fine if you tune out. So one of the first things I wanted to explain about, well, the process it took to getting this, I'm just going to go over to this Factorium waypoint here because that's where all the crafting stations are, and then I'm going to go over to the weaponsmith crafting station because you needed to be a weaponsmith to craft bolts. Just going to pull out the map to find it quicker. Ah, there it is. Right down there. And here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to type down sword here. Because in here there was... yes, I think here here it is. In the base, in the legendary components, this is one thing you have to do. This was a, basically, to craft bolt, you have to go through this massive collection, or at least this is the way I done it. And in order to get it, you have to do a requisition. So you talk to one of the weaponsmithing masters, such as this child lady here, Task Steamcaller. And then, once you talk to her, well, it wasn't her that I talked to, it was the person in Lion's Arch, but same thing. Then they asked me to make 250 mithril swords. Yes, that is bonkers, and you'll be doing many other bonkers things just like that to get yourself a legendary if you want to make one yourself. It is actually kind of a big deal, and it also taken me 4 years to get this because I just took it nice and slow. Yes, I know that's ages of time. You can do it fast if you want, but it does take a heap of your money. I went down to 0 gold so many times I lost count. So, they will ask you to do ridiculous things such as crafting 250 mithril swords. The upside of doing it this way, where you go through a massive collection, is that it can level you up like crazy. Just through crafting these mithril swords alone, I was able to get up to Grandmaster Weaponsmith, level 500 out of 500, the max level. Before that, I was like level 411. That got me all the way to the end. The downside is that it took heaps and heaps and heaps of gold to get there because I was like buying mithril ore and stuff like that. In fact, if I just go into the collections here, in legendary collections, yeah, you can now see all this stuff that I had to do to get bolt. You can see all the bongo stuff I had to do. So the first few things I had to do was like just collect some really crappy level 1 items. This wasn't too hard. Then I started having to go to different people and basically ask them for tips and tricks on how to make bolt, that kind of stuff. And after that, I moved on to step 2, where I started having to do all this stuff like crafting 500 mithril swords. That was the one for the war effort. And I had to do other things, such as I had to create all these different things, like a balanced blade, a balanced sword hilt, which costed me quite a lot of materials. And I also had to speak to all these different people, run around, and just talk to them. Those are the easy parts. I was thinking, this collection isn't so bad. Then I got up to the part, like the third part, Zap. Oh boy, did this take me ages. This collection was a huge pain in the arse to do, because you had to get this thing called a capacitive bottle, this thing here, and then you had to run along and do all these different things all over the place. It was kind of like a huge wild goose chase, except it wasn't actually a wild goose chase. Like, one of the things I remember very vividly is a bottle of Chak energy. It's somewhere in here. So what you have to do is, well, for all these energies, you pretty much have to go and get yourself zapped by different electrical sources. So the one of them was Chak energy you have to get zapped by. Another one was you have to go and like step in the reactor of the thermonova reactor. So you have to do fractals. Yes, there were some things you have to do which were fractals. Then for all of these, you had to get a charged quartz, which you do that by buying or gathering 25 quartz. I'm just going to type it in here. Yeah, quartz crystal. So currently on the trading post, they're costing you 3 silver and 17 copper each. So we just make this go up to 25. Yeah, you can see, if you didn't have any quartz in your inventory, it would take you almost 80 silver, which is honestly kind of a big deal for me. It's, well, not a big deal for some people if you have heaps and heaps of gold, but in my opinion, it takes a few moments for me to earn this much silver, so it is a big deal for me. It takes you this much silver. Prices may vary because the market's constantly going up and down, but then you have to take these 25 quartz, and you have to go to a hero point that you can channel. So a great example was earlier in the video at my home instance over... Hold on, let me just get rid of these two. Yeah, over here on the map, in the Hero's Canton, I had bought something which lets you have a Crate Obelisk Shard at home. So I could go to that, and then I could commune with it like you were doing with the hero point. And once you finish communing with it, then you get a charged quartz. But you can only do that once per day. So that's kind of a time gate that was on it. So after I'd done all that and finally charged enough quartz to go to all these different locations, I ended up getting the precursor to Bolt, Zap. And what some people have done at this point also is salvaged it because of the previous two swords. So how it worked was once you complete the first part of the collection, you will get this really, really crappy looking sword. Hold on, let me just go to the second part. It actually shows up here. Yeah, that's what the sword looks like. Zap Experiment. Looks like this really, really just broken, wonky sword. Then you get the next one, which is hold on, it's actually in number 3. Then you'd get this one, the Perfected Sword. And then the last step, like for the last step, the game would give you for doing that collection, Zap. Yeah, here, this sword right here. So this is what the precursor for Bolt actually looks like. Now, I actually made the mistake here of doing the collection because one of my friends told me, and she's really, really good at the game, by the way. She's like played it for years and probably knows much more about legendary crafting than me because she's got like 12 legendaries and I only have 1. Anyway, she told me I'm doing it wrong apparently. The best way to do it is just earn enough money and buy the precursor off the market instead of doing the collection like I did. Because then you will not only save money, but you also save yourself all the pain and trouble of going through this entire collection. Looking back on it, I honestly wish I did that. Now, the next thing that the collection would require you to do after you finally got that, and make sure you don't salvage the last one, make sure you don't salvage Zap, because before you had to salvage the weapons and get like the essences and craft new weapons, but with Zap, if you did that, you'd be throwing it away and have to contact support to get your weapon back. After that, the game requires you to get all these ridiculous gifts. Like one of the things it required you to get was the Gift of Fortune, which required like 250 of these, like tier 6 elaborate totems, 250 of these, 250 of these, and 250 of these. I may be getting the like tier 6 materials wrong, but I had to max all of these in my inventory, 250 of each of them. You might not think that's such a big deal until I actually click buy here and scroll across. So yeah, as you can see, just that. 71 gold. And then you add it up from the other next, from like the next stack you need to buy, and the next stack. So yeah, it took ages again, like I was saying. And also, you might be thinking at this point, well, this sounds like quite the intricate and long journey. Why didn't you record any of this? And I have a good reason why I didn't record that. My routine was unbelievably boring. I did the same events to get gold over and over again with no real variety in between because I'm someone who in certain ways honestly enjoys a bit of repetition. In fact, I've came up with a funny idea in my head for a skit. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to put a cut to it, and this is basically what my super boring experience would have been like if I recorded it, so I hope you enjoy this. Hey everyone, Cheese here with episode 4220 of Let's Farm the Casino Blitz in Amnoon. Now, I know most of you are bored to death watching this over and over, but please stick around because later on in the video, I'm going to be talking about a rehashed topic which I've already talked about, which is how much I love listening to 80s music even though I wasn't born in this generation when doing Casino Blitz. Oh, and if you stick around to the end of the video, you're going to watch me do the Pinata event, which has no way of damaging you at all, so it's a bit of a snore fest. But don't forget to stick around to the very end because when that happens, we're gonna have like a 0.002 chance at getting the confetti infusion, which is definitely not gonna happen. But there is going to be some rare equipment at the end, which I will most likely dead. And there may even be ectoplasms coming out of that. Yeah, so we got some pretty exciting stuff. So here we are collecting a few casino coins. And I know the casino coins never move any spaces, like move spots to a different place. They're always in the same place each and every time. But I just want you to right now close your eyes and use your imagination to imagine them in different places and how cool that would be and how it might even vary up the casino bliss just a tiny little bit. I would show you this myself, but unfortunately my editing skills are too poor and I don't know how to move one single lousy little coin from one place to another. Okay, so here we are with Let's Do the Daily episode. Oh shit, I forgot what episode it is. I lost count. I've honestly done so many of these. Oh well, who cares? Let's move on now, because right now I'm gonna go across whatever map this is. I think it's Mount Maelstrom. Yeah, it's Mount Maelstrom. Now the thing that we're looking for here is platinum ore. Oh look, there's one. Yeah, so I'm gonna go over to it and press the F button. I know this isn't really exciting gameplay, but maybe we'll get a Risen or two to attack us at some point during this thing, so it isn't too much of a slog. Oh, well, would you look at that? A Risen attacked me. Yeah, I'm gonna kill it now. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, it was defeated, I guess pretty easy, because I've got like a buff that gives me 10% less damage and 10% more damage. This undead potion, this undead killing potion, which I recommend buying. Yeah, I actually have like 200 of these in the bank because I bought a little too many of them. It's actually a kind of funny story that I've told 3 times already, so I'm not going to tell it again. Anyway, now moving on, we're going to go over to another part of the map. Yeah, somewhere around this part of the map, I think. Might even find a rich ore vein. That would be pretty exciting, because then I can mine it like 3 times and get 3 times as much more platinum ore. I was about to say mithril ore, but that instead spawns an ore, which if you didn't know, I once had a conversation with someone which compared ore to like the Wild West, and I said there was like a bunch of army bases there, and then they said that isn't the Wild West, but then I told them about the Indians that lived there, so yeah, it actually turned out a bit more like the Wild West. Now the thing about the Wild West that you really should know is that it isn't actually portrayed like in Red Dead Redemption 2. You got less like carriage rides and that kind of stuff, and it was a bit more of a desert. There was also less grass and ferns and whatnot you have in there. Honestly, I'm just gonna say this. Props to myself, man, because that was some A-tier satire. You know, I actually included a bunch of things in there that was true. I really do like listening to 80s music. I really like doing repetitive tasks on a lot of maps. And I do actually get a little bit excited when a platinum ore shows up. But at least I'm smart enough not to, like, record that stuff, upload it to YouTube and think, wowee, isn't this exciting? Here we go again. Mining the frickin' platinum ore in Malcor's Leap or whatever. I even got the names of the places mixed up. Malcor's Leap is where you get the mithril ore. Good job, Cheese. You thought you wasn't gonna screw up all this time. You did actually screw up. Maybe once, but you still frickin' screwed up. And I'm back after the cut. I hope you enjoyed that little funny skit I had thought of where I've shown you just like how boring it would actually be if I actually recorded myself just doing all those mundane things over and over. Anyway, why am I in Queensdale? Well, I felt like I just wanted to end the video by killing a few level 2 bandits with this legendary to see how much damage it does, because why not? Oh, they aren't even level 2, apparently they're level 8. You also might get to see what I was talking. Yeah, so that's what I meant by with like the animation, where if you kill the enemy, then they'll actually like get electrocuted. I'll just turn on the volume so you get like the dialogue volume as well, so you can actually hear what they sound like when they get electrocuted. Yep, so you can pretty much see what I mean there. That actually wasn't even that loud, so I just put it up a little higher. Yep, come on, Bandit, you're gonna be the finale to my video.
Ha! You're kidding, right?
Yep, that's the kind of stuff you hear when you electrocute someone in this game, or in this case, slash them with an overpowered legendary weapon. So yeah, that's actually pretty much it. That's it for this video, that's all I really wanted to do. Thanks for watching it, and I hope this at least helped you a little bit to decide if you want a legendary weapon or not, or if it didn't, you can tell me in the comments how I kind of failed doing that, because this was never meant to really be a guide in the first place. Either way, thanks for watching it all the way through if you did.